My name is MacGrath. I'm a mixed martial artist with a 17-8 pro record. I have a black belt in judo and I have a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I have 3 Canadian titles right now with 3 different promotions. I'm defending my ex-FFC belt on April 15th in Grand Prairie, Alberta.
And what's your current rank as a welterweight in Canada?
I'm ranked number 1 in the country and hoping to get to UFC or another opportunity with Bellator or a bigger stage in the near future.
So how did you get your start in MMA?
I competed at judo since I was about 9 years old, and I was traveling to a nearby city to improve my ground skills for my judo career, and those coaches in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu were also promoters. I watched a couple of fight cards and I wasn't overly impressed with the athletes. Started competing, and here we are, 25 fights in.
What do you love most about your sport?
I like that you constantly grow, whether it's in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, and have to teach yourself how to train differently as the body reminds us that everyone's human. There's a saying that an injury makes you stronger. If you have a sore arm, you use your other arm, or you use your legs, or just train differently. So I like the evolution of the sport, and I like that you can always train somewhere.
There's a lot of misconceptions, I think, about martial arts or about MMA. What do you think the biggest misconception or misunderstanding people have about your sport is?
I think that people often think that you can just jump in and be an MMA fighter. You hear it all the time. Guys come in the gym door and they say, I want to be an MMA fighter. I personally, and most of our gym, believe that you should have a background in something. You should be a boxer. You should be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, a judo guy, or a wrestler, or and then mold your other skills to improve on your weaknesses. Nowadays, there's a lot of mixed martial artists that just train mixed martial art, but you still see them in the gi, you still see them in the boxing gym. There's so much work that goes into being a fighter that people would turn away unless they followed me for a week or 2 weeks and realized how hard a work it is. And it's a love, it's a passion.
What are your thoughts on learning from failure?
I think it's the only way to learn, because I think if everyone always made the smartest decisions, there'd never be any mistakes. We always learn from mistakes, and if we're not learning from mistakes, then we're not getting better. We just keep continuously doing the same thing, making the same mistakes. It's when we make the mistakes that we improve, we become stronger. Whether, same as from an injury, you get stronger, mentally more than anything.
What's your philosophy of winning? Of what does winning mean to you?
Winning is just my reward for working hard and doing my skills to the best of my ability. But just because I didn't win doesn't mean I didn't do my best. I'm sure that most people have heard the old saying, there's always someone better, which I truly believe, but I think the saying comes down to who's better on that night, which way's the wind blowing, and a little help from up above doesn't hurt either.
That's awesome. How do you mentally prepare to deliver your best every time?
I personally believe for me to be mentally prepared, I need to be physically prepared. The harder I train in the gym, the more circumstances I can see and avenues I can explore, the more ready I'll be for my opponents. Actually, a judo coach I had here in PEI, he truly believed in repetition, beat it to death. If it's boring, then it means I'm starting to get good at it, another 1,000 reps. When it's second nature, I just do it, I don't think about it. If I have to think about it, it's too late. So my mind gets strong from my work. The harder I work, the stronger my mind is.
What has your sport taught you about life outside of your sport?
I always had a good work ethic, and I think that this has elevated my work ethic. So I believe that it's taught me all my sport, whether it be judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or mixed martial arts, that hard work pays off and that it's rewarding, you know, whether you win or lose. And it actually, you know, has taught me that how important a team and a support system is. You know, from my family to the guys I train with every day, to coaches and sponsors, and just everyone is a unit. It's an individual sport as much as it is a team sport, because if you don't have any support, then you're not just going to hit the heavy bag and win fights.
What have you learned about reaching for your goals and pushing for your goals?
I think the more I believe and the more I work towards my goals, the more frustrated I get in the gym, they're more attainable. I had a wrestling coach here from PEI, his name is Danny McGee, and he said the days that you don't feel like doing anything, the days that you drag yourself into the gym and you really don't want to be there, those are the days you're learning. The days that everything goes right, those are easy days. You're not learning anything, you're just doing what you do. But when you come to the gym and everything's a struggle and everything's getting shut down and nothing's working, those are the learning days. So, you know, it's just see everything and evolve and enjoy life.
I love that. What is your training? What does a typical day of training look like for you?
Generally, I train twice a day as much as I can. I always like to take Saturdays off because Saturdays is generally my fight day. So normally I'd weigh in on a Friday and fight on a Saturday, so I really wouldn't do anything Saturday. So for me, I would always just take that day and lay around or play with the kids. Or I work full time as well as a chef, so I try and balance the two training sessions around that. So in the morning, it could be strength and conditioning session for an hour and a half, or it could be a day training session with my teammates, a little bit lighter session. Evenings are more technical and more sparring orientated. In the run of a week, I probably am about 30 to 32 hours a week training, with coming up to this fight, probably anywhere from 15 to 20 sparring rounds.
What are your goals in getting ready for this next fight on the 15th?
I feel I'm ready for this fight coming up on April 15th now, 3 weeks out, so I can only get better and stronger mentally, because the physical part for me is done. I just keep going and I work on the tricky things now. I just watching videos of my opponent, working on specifics. He's a lefty, so working on cutting the angles and just, again, trying everything. My fight camp up to now has been trying everything, so now it's going to be implement my game plan, fail, because when I fail, I see what can happen if I fail, and then just recover from it. And you know, if I hurt my leg in the fight and I can't wrestle anymore, then maybe I have to strike for the whole fight. But one way or another, I'll win the fight.
What does your day-to-day nutrition look like?
Pretty clean. I've been on weight since probably 4 or 5 weeks. Lots of Nutrisol protein. And I probably eat a salad a day, minimum. Lots of very paleo diet, lots of meat and veggies. I believe we're meant to eat animal protein because lions eat meat for a reason. You know, I have no issue with vegans or different styles or different diets, but I think that if you want your muscles to rebuild and be strong, then we're meant to eat meat. So, yeah, very paleo diet, with lots of shakes and very little dairy. I don't eat a lot of dairy. So.
You had mentioned before that since you've been using Nutrilene, it's helped you with your recovery. Can you comment on that a bit? Since I've started using Nutrilene, I haven't I've had very little soreness. Even a hard strength and conditioning session, which I only do a couple hours a week of, I'm not
being broken down. The muscle is repairing. I'm not getting. I do a Mike Dulce. It's a Mike Dulce ab workout. He's a pretty world famous nutrition and personal trainer. I've read a few books of his, and I do this ab workout, which is 1,050 reps of 5 different exercises in 29 minutes, and I do it now, and I don't feel a thing the next day or the next day, and I really think it's from the Nutrilean, and yeah, we'll keep using it. Things are going well.
And how does it taste?
Taste is unreal. The first time I smelled it, I thought it was Duncan Hines cake mix. So, you know, if I can eat Duncan Hines cake mix and feel great and be strong and fit and fast, I'll keep eating it.
That's awesome. Your biggest supporters are obviously your beautiful family. What does your family mean to you through all of this as you're preparing?
Definitely, it's a strain on my family, but by far my biggest supporter is my wife and 3 children. I have a 6-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old son, and a 1-year-old son. So it's quite busy. I always say to people I work 3 full-time jobs because I work full-time as a chef. I train pretty much full-time as an athlete, and I change diapers full-time. So things, you know, but I'm happy. I like it. It's what it's supposed to be. I'm 36 years old, and I'm very happy to have a wife and 3 children.
You know, everything that you do, you work hard and you excel at. What advice would you give to someone who's starting out on a new challenge, you know, whether it's in the sport or whether it's outside the sport?
I think it's great to try new things, and I think that be open-minded if you're going to try a new thing, and don't expect to be world champion the first 10 classes of judo, or the first time on the wrestling mat, or the first time doing a round in the cage as an MMA fighter. You know, or you know, starting a new job, or trying to lose weight. Everything takes time. Jason Mosier is a strength and conditioning coach of mine, and it takes time to get out of shape, and it takes time to get in shape. So no matter what you're doing in life, I think it takes time and patience and dedication to get where you want to be.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you for having me.